And we're live, Councillor Chad.
Thank you, Adam. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the decision day of myself, the Executive Lead Member for Children's Services, as well as the Executive Member for Education. These decision days are being broadcast in one session live on YouTube via the County Council website. On the agenda today, the first item is deputations. I don't believe we have any deputations, do we, Adam?
No, none have been received.
No. Fantastic. So if we move to the key decision item and agenda item 1, which is the Children's Services Capital Programme, I believe Richard is going to present a report. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Councillor Chad. Yes, this is an update to the Children's Services Capital Programme for the period 24-25. This report seeks approval for submission to the Leader and Cabinet of the revised Children's Services Capital Programme for 24-25. And the Executive Lead Member for Children's Services approves the recommendations in paragraphs 2 to 10. Since your briefing, Councillor Chad, there's been one additional recommendation added to the report, which is the sum of £750,000 to support the amalgamation of Peel Common Infant School and Nursery and Junior School, which takes effect from the 1st of January 2025. All other recommendations remain the same. The revised programme value for the period 24-25 is now £137.917 million. For those that can remember, the reported figure when we took the 3-year programme in January was 121 million. So we've carried an amount of resources forward into this year for schemes that didn't start, and some changes to funding. Just in terms of highlights within the report, you will see that we, in paragraph 15, we had confirmation from the DfE of our basic need allocation for 25-26. That was £22.245 million, and we brought that into the programme. We don't at this point have any allocations beyond 25-26, so due to spending reviews and other issues. We always work on 0 allocations in the future until we know otherwise. So that remains our position in terms of future basic need allocation. I would just touch on sections 18 to 20. That just outlines the fact that we received approval for an additional special free school in May of this year for an additional 125 place co-educational 8 to 16-year-old SEMH provision. We've brought £17 million into the programme for that. We will need to work with the DfE to understand the true cost of that, but at current cost it would be approximately £17 million. And work is underway with colleagues across the organisation to identify a site in order to locate that special school on. That's a positive, and we're working hard to deliver that. Sections 24-25, that's a reminder that we've added an additional £1 million to our social care adaptation pot. That's really important to us that we've added that funding in. We normally allow £500,000 a year. We've increased that to £1.5 million for this coming year due to the additional pressure on that pot in order to place many of our most vulnerable children in fostering and adoption arrangements that are local and best for them. So it was felt appropriate in discussion with yourself and Stuart that we added £1 million to that pot in order to cover the works that are required. You will see in 26, that's post 16, there's a small amount of grant unspent in terms of SEND provision. We're going to open that up to the post 16 market in order to try and create an additional 40 places across the sector to support SEND students in post 16. Sections 30-31, that's the funding that has come into Hampshire Music Service through a successful bid to be a music hub. The majority of that, of the money received, the 2.3 million is revenue, but there is a small amount of capital, 560,000, 570,000, that we've brought into the programme to support the purchasing of equipment and other musical technologies to support the service. And then finally from me, in terms of the Peel Common money that we've added in. That's set out in sections 37, 38 and 39. I think that's all I've got to say in terms of the programme. It remains a good news story, a significant programme, and we'll bring a further update to the programme if required before we update again in January.
Thank you, Richard. And just to echo what you've just said there, it really is a good news report with the amount of investment that's we're going to be seeing in Hampshire. I take the additional of Peel Common, that comes under, I've noticed, under the recommendation 4, is that correct? That's been added to that bit there. Perfect, thank you. I personally don't have any questions other than just a statement to say this is a fantastic piece of work. Our young people, our parents and all of our residents are going to really reap the rewards of this capital programme going forward. So it's really fantastic. So thank you to everyone involved. Does any other my colleagues have any questions or comments they want to make on this one? Councillor Forster.
Thank you, Councillor Chad. Just to reiterate your comments, it's really good to see all these coming forward. I know that there's consultations, etc., which are really important because residents' feedback is really important, as well as other stakeholders. And I'd just like to commend the officers for the amazing work that's been done. It's been considerable, thorough, and well received. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So yeah, I think I speak, definitely on behalf of the Select Committee today as well. That this item wasn't on the agenda there, but actually the message I got very clearly from the members there was it is about putting our children first and making sure that we've got the best provision possible for those young people. And I think this capital programme really does emphasise that, and that we are striving to do that. So on that note, if you're happy, I will take all the recommendations as a bulk because there are 10 of them. So recommendations 2 to 10, I am very happy to approve. Thank you, everyone. And I'd now like to hand over to Councillor Forster for his decisions today.
Rose, Councillor Chad, thank you so much. Gosh, that's quick, 8 minutes. Welcome everybody to my decision day as the executive member for education. We've got some nice topics to cover today. I'm happy to just step through the agenda. I think the first thing is whether there are any deputations, and I've not been informed that there are any. Can someone please confirm that?
That's correct.
Okay, that's super. Thank you. That allows us to move into the decisions. There are no key decisions, but we now go to the non-key decisions. We've got a few of those. The first one is additional specialist provision for resourced provisions in our existing schools. And I think, Emma, you're taking us through this, are you?
Councillor Forster, it's me today.
Oh, right. Natalie, just like last month, you volunteered. You've been volunteered again. Thank you.
Well, Emma is might need to be called out halfway through, so we decided that for the sake of continuity, it would be better that I led it on this occasion.
Thank you.
So this report seeks approval for a number of expansions to add additional specialist places into the education system. We're all aware that there is a lack of sufficient specialist provision within Hampshire schools, which can lead to children having places in independent non-maintained special schools, which are more expensive. The quality is more difficult to assure ourselves of, and often they are further away, so transport costs are higher and the children have to travel further. So we are very keen to increase local provision. The first of these is the expansion of Pennington Junior School resourced provision. We are hoping to take the APN, the agreed place number, from 5 to 8. That doesn't seem like much, but it is able to be accommodated with no additional costs. The second one is Fleet Infant School. Fleet Infant School, we are hoping will be able to meet the needs of up to 9 additional pupils with ASC. The additional specific classroom space required will be using an available building and small garden with minor works to adapt the accommodation to support the proposal. The next is a resourced provision at Velmead Junior School, which is the school that the children from the infant school that we've just spoken about will go on to attend. We hope that the additional accommodation will meet the needs of up to 12 additional pupils, infant age, coming into the junior school. And this will be accommodated by a new modular building, which will provide the solution and allow those children to take on their learning journey into this junior school. The next one is the establishment of a resourced provision at Portway Junior School. We are hoping that Portway will have the single modular building, which is currently accommodating a bulge year group, adapted to provide accommodation for a resource provision of up to 10 pupils with only minor works required. The next one is establishment of a resource provision at Bartley Junior School. The school has surplus classrooms, so we need to only make minor adjustments to make the space appropriate for up to 12 pupils with SEMH needs. The next one is an academy, so we are seeking permission to work with the academy to provide resourced provision for pupils aged 11 to 16 with SEMH needs. We hope to provide space for up to 10 pupils, and this will require the installation of a modular building. And finally, another academy, Sunhill Junior School. We hope to provide an additional resourced provision for SEMH pupils for up to 12 children, and the school has surplus place to accommodate the resource provision in classrooms within the main school, so only minor internal works will be required. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalie. That was comprehensive. Can I ask if there are any questions from anyone on any of these items? Okay, got no hands raised, so I am just going to make one comment, which is it's really good to see all of these coming forward. Potentially they all allow for resource provision to be delivered very quickly, predominantly before the next school year, the September 25 school year. And the whole point of these, although some of them are small, is they are low cost and speedily delivered, and they complement the work that we're doing around other provision for special education needs, some of which will take longer because it involves building maintenance and works. But this is completely complementary, so I'm really delighted to see these small increases coming through fast. It's also good coverage across Hampshire. I note 2 of them are within my area, Fleet Infants and Velmead, so I'm particularly pleased to see those coming forward. I encourage people to respond to the consultations as they come out, but in terms of the recommendations then, as listed at 2, 3 and 4, the report, I'm happy to approve those recommendations as listed. Move on to the next decision, which is specialist provision final approval for expansion at Shepherd's Down School. Natalie, are you taking us through this one again?
Yes, I am. So this, we have already received permission for this to go to consultation. The consultation has happened, and the purpose of this report is to provide feedback from the statutory consultation and ask that approval be given to make the prescribed alteration to take the school from 170 to 190 places with effect from September 2024. So moving on to the consultation, the public notice period took place between the 29th of March and the 26th of April of this year. The notice was displayed at schools, circulated to stakeholders, published in the Hampshire Independent and on the Hampshire County Council's public notice portal. One response was received after the public notice period had concluded. The response highlighted concerns discussed with Hampshire County Council officers and residents at a meeting which took place on the 29th of April. Access road and drainage improvements are planned to be undertaken during summer 2020-24. Additional car parking has been secured on a temporary basis at an adjacent property, whilst a permanent solution to improve car parking and access is developed. So from the one response received, we have provided a satisfactory reply. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. It's good to see that there has been a comprehensive response to that concern that was raised. First, can I ask if any members have any questions on this item? No? Okay, no hands raised, thank you. As I say, good to see that we've dealt with the one query that was raised. And once again, good that we're seeing an extra 20 spaces. This is the sort of expansion I was referring to just a moment ago, where we are seeing considerable investment. I think paragraph 13 was it was particularly interesting, the difference in cost between our own special schools resource provision and a non-maintained school being roughly 3 times, in fact more than 3 times greater. So aside from, as Natalie mentioned, the consistency and the quality that we can control and make sure is delivered at our own schools, the financial savings are considerable. And when you're talking about an estimated revenue saving of £810,000, that is huge, coupled with a better provision in line with our local places for local children. I'm really pleased to see this one coming through for the final approval. So the recommendation as shown at paragraph 2, that the proposals as published to expand from 170 to 190 from September 24, I'm happy to approve that recommendation as shown. Thank you. That now moves us on to the third and final item in my decision day, which is outside bodies appointments. And I believe this one is for Adam, unusually, to present on this one.
Thank you, Councillor Forster. So this is one of our usual outside body reports for outside bodies that are appointed to by the Executive Member for Education. This one is only for one appointment for the Hampshire Admissions Forum. It was Councillor Baines, the Liberal Democrat group, would like to replace their nominated individual with Councillor Porter, subject to your approval.
Thank you, Adam. Can I ask if anyone has questions? Yes, Councillor Wade.
I just want to add that from our perspective, we fully support that nomination.
Thank you, Malcolm. That's noted, and appreciate you saying that. Any other questions? No. Well, I'm always encouraged to see Councillor Porter, who has considerable expertise, stepping forward. So good that she's taking over from Councillor Baines, and I'm happy to see that. The recommendation, as shown, that in accordance with Part 2, Chapter 3 of the Constitution, I appoint Councillor Baines taking over from Councillor Porter, I should say. Slight confusion there. I misread it. I'm happy to approve that with a term of office to expire in May 25 for the current appointment. So that recommendation is approved. I think that brings us to the end of the decision day. I'd like to thank all those officers who've been involved and have contributed today. Considerable amount of work. Really pleased to see this going forward. I'd like to thank once again Councillor Chad and Adam and Natalie for presenting those items in my area. Have a good afternoon.
Many thanks.
Thanks. Can I ask you to stop the recording, please, Adam?
Yes, I'll confirm as soon as